Welcome to Link by Golf, where the stories of the game come to life. I'm your host, Ross McGuire, and today I'm joined by someone whose journey perfectly captures the spirit of this podcast, Fraser McLaughlan. From a golf-obsessed kid growing up in Scotland to living in Dubai and building a new life in fitness, Fraser's story is full of surprises, resilience and reinvention. This episode is proudly supported by True Links Wear, Croon Golf and Lomond Golf Tours, bringing comfort, creativity and unforgettable golf experiences to every step of your game. Let's get over to Fraser. On this week's podcast, I am truly thrilled to be joined by Fraser McLaughlan. Big man, how you doing?
I am wonderful, Ross. Thank you for having me on.
And Fraser, we'll jump straight into where you are today. You're in Dubai and you've completely changed your career and you're no longer in golf. So did you think when you were on the golf course as a young guy that you'd end up being a physical trainer?
When I was young growing up, as you well know, we grew up in the same place. I was an absolute golf fanatic, and I never in a million years envisaged doing anything ever that didn't include golf. So it's been as much a surprise to me as anybody, to tell you the truth. But fun at the same time. It's been a nice wee change of pace as life rolls on. Fast.
You're telling me, Fraser, you're only 46, with 47 this year, is that right?
47 in October, 3 years till the seniors tour.
Brilliant, we're getting a comeback for Big Fraser, that'd be awesome. Looking forward to that.
I'll need to try and teach myself to hit it over 190 yards again. Unfortunately, the increased muscle mass is not equated to more club head speed. It's went in the opposite direction, unfortunately. But
well, there was a time, Fraser, when there wasn't a driver that could fit you because you were hitting it so far and so hard.
I think Stuart Whiteford was giving me a wee bit of stick about that, but I was a wee bit too obsessed with distance at the time.
Oh, I certainly wasn't giving you any stick. I was telling stories on the pod about you smashing basically rubber golf balls over the back of the range down at Hamilton Range, and I just thought, what is this? This is crazy.
Oh no, I was touched to hear that. Don't worry. I used to love teeing up my pencil and swinging it as hard as I could. And I hope my prayer that you would find it after. That was pretty much my golf in the middle of my career, to tell you the truth. The control wasn't the strong point, to be honest, but it was great fun. And as I was actually just saying before we came online here, I've been out of golf for 5 years now, and listening to your podcast and chatting the last week, hearing about some of the stories about the good old days, it's been amazing. It's been great fun. And it's the first time I've actually thought about playing golf in a long, long time. So maybe I come back, might be in the future in a few years, who knows?
Well, look forward to that, Fraser. That is definitely one that's going to get the listeners interested, that's for sure. But we'll go back to the start, Fraser. So you're from same area as me, but you're from Wishaw. How did you get into the game?
So into the game, very similar. I listened to Gary Dingwall's podcast. He's a very good friend of mine growing up, as you well know. Dinger's very similar to him. Started hitting balls in a swing park. Waited till the day I turned 10 till I could join Wishaw, because that's what it was like back then. Got into Wishaw Golf Club, and that was really it. It was just an absolute obsession. From then on, everything else went out the window. School, other sports, everything. It was just golf.
Even other sports as well. You pushed them to the side, didn't you?
Yeah, I did boxing training. Never actually did a fight, and I did swimming, and I was rotten at the both of them. So it probably worked out quite well.
I didn't know that. Yeah, there you go. I didn't know that about the boxing.
Yeah, I had to give up because of my fingers, unfortunately.
Right. Getting too many
injuries. The referee kept standing on
them. Brilliant. But then in terms of the golf, Fraser, so you joined Wishaw at 10. When did it become apparent to you that you were starting to show some talent and maybe a wee bit different to some of your friends?
Joined Wishaw at 10, and a very supportive father. You know, my dad, Big Willie, he used to caddy for me. we literally used to play every minute of the day. It was daylight that we were allowed in the golf course. There were certain restrictions at weekends and stuff like that. And wouldn't wouldn't really describe it as kind of I thought I had found a wee bit of talent. It was literally just doing it that much that I ended up finding a way to get it done at a pretty decent level by the time I was maybe 12, 13. I
Right.
think about 12, 13, I started playing for the men's team. Handicap was down maybe six, something like that. So a wee bit
Wow.
agricultural, but could get it around the golf course. The golf club itself at Wishaw was unbelievable for me because that was back at the time when it was almost like most of the Lanarkshire clubs were junior haters. Wishaw was the absolute opposite. They done everything for me. They even bent rules that I could play in tournaments younger than I should have. They get me in team matches when I was younger when I probably wasn't good enough to play these kind of things. So the encouragement from the membership at Wishaw was incredible, and that just kind of pushed me on from there. And then it just kept progressing every year right through to my kind of mid-teens.
Yeah. And I was laughing in the first pod I'd mentioned with Gary about your house and Hippo driver. That was a belter.
Yes,
You used to hit that
yeah,
everywhere.
it is.
I think you must have been, when I think back, Fraser, the first time we played, and I was thinking about this, it was probably the Borough Cup, which is a junior open at Wishaw, right? And
Borough Cup, that's
you were
right.
probably 11 or 12, and I would have been 14, 13 or 14, probably first time I played with you. And
Yeah, that's right.
you were burning out that house in Hippo driver. You were
Oh, I
great at
took
it
it
though. Oh my
everywhere.
God. You had it everywhere.
I would I would hit it down the grip at the par threes. I just loved it.
You were awesome at it as well. It was
I
unbelievable.
just loved it. Them were the days. And at that time, the head felt like a vacuum cleaner. But if you seen it now, it would probably be about that size with all the
I know.
new kind of a share. I remember when the first Callaway Big Bertha came out. Have you
Yeah,
ever actually put one of them on the ground now? You couldn't hit it. It's too small.
I
So
know.
it's
It's
amazing
incredible.
how things. And I also feel that possibly the bigger stuff's taking a wee bit of the skill out of the game for younger kids, probably. It's much
Yeah.
easier to hit a big head than it was a smaller head, possibly. But
Yeah, and
um,
you've been, I think, what's that, 2, 3 years younger than me. Even you must have just skipped even playing with persimmon and stuff like that. Did you skip that
but
altogether?
my first driver, I used a Joe Powell wooden driver actually.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, I used a Joe Powell wooden driver when I was about 13 or something, which were quite expensive at the time
Oh, they
actually.
were, aye. Yeah.
Um, and that was the kind of the end of the persimmon era. The tailor-made metal woods were in 3 or 4 years before that, but
Yeah.
we're really showing our age now that we were using wooden golf clubs.
I know. Well, that's it, Fraser. That's it. The best players were around then, of course. So,
Exactly,
so then
exactly.
you progressed within Wishaw, and you said it was a really supportive environment, playing team games and stuff. When did you start playing beyond the, I guess, environment of Wishaw into like county and other levels?
So it probably started with the county junior stuff. Probably the biggest kickstart when I thought to myself, I could maybe kick on at this golf and maybe do something at it, was I was 14 or 15 and I won the Lanarkshire Boys at Mount Ellen. I beat Big Craig Heat and Davy Park by a shot. As
There you
you know,
go.
Davy's a good
Local
friend of
rival.
mine, as
Yeah.
local rivals. So that kind of got me on the county radar. So started playing for the junior county team and then the odd youth game. And then you know what it's
Yeah.
like when you're young. You get a wee bite of that, you get a taste of it, and you just want to kind of keep pushing on. And again, I've talked about Wishaw. Lanarkshire Golf Association were also unbelievably supportive for me when I was younger growing
Yeah.
up. They could not have done enough for us. And most of us came from fairly modest backgrounds around that area. But I would say kind of at 14 years old is when I say, right, this is what I want to do in some shape or form.
Well, and it doesn't surprise me, Fraser. I mean, you were very, very good. And then you're mentioning sort of that's the county level, but you got into the Scotland team. What age were you when you started playing for Scotland as well?
So 17, I got in the Scotland boys squad when I was 17. So I had 1 year as a junior left,
Right.
and there was I can't even remember the name of the tournament, but there was like a six-man team went to Belgium, I think in
Oh,
March, and the Scottish boys was always in
quadrangular.
April,
So the quadrangular.
quadrangular. So
Yeah.
I was first reserve for that, and my old mucker Dingy, he got in front of me, and I was gutted. In fairness, he should have gotten in front of me, but I was still gutted anyway. And he had the jacket with the badge and stuff like that. So, in
The
fairness, that
shoes with the
kind of
badge on it. It debated
the
the shoes as
shoes with the
well.
badge, the balls, personalised balls, everything I wanted, he had all of a sudden. So that kind of made me get my finger out a wee bit. And then that was the year where things really kind of kicked on for me. To be honest, after that year, I think I got worse every year. So that was so my golf career was 1996. So good run in the Scottish boys where I lost in the final to Stuart Whiteford,
Yeah.
which was great fun. Now that actually got me my first cap in Japan, the four-man team. So that kind of got me in the scene, and then I played in the Europeans, the home internationals, and stuff that same year. So that Scottish boys, that year was the year that kind of really changed things completely from being a decent county player to being kind of a known a little bit in terms of as a decent junior internationally within Scotland, obviously.
And that must have been amazing, Fraser, at 17 to go away to Japan and play for Scotland. I mean,
Oh,
what a
it's
trip.
brilliant. It was great fun. I don't think I'd been in an aeroplane before.
You went to
So, I mean,
Japan?
it was, I went to Japan. First round was playing with Trevor Immelman for a couple of rounds and stuff like that. Justin Rose
Wow.
was playing. So there was a lot of at the time you never really knew who they were, but it's good to look back now and see how well they've done and how they've kicked on and stuff like that. But even the confidence they'd been in that environment really kicked on the months leading after that as well. And it was just sheerly through having the confidence of feeling like you actually belong there. So I'll never forget that year. It was great fun, fond memories.
Yeah, and you mentioned when we were talking before, Fraser, you talked about the British Amateur, so the men's version. So talk me through that week where
Yeah, that was
you had a
that was
really
the same
a
thing.
good run.
That would only have been a few weeks after the Scottish boys, actually.
Yeah, of course, aye.
So actually, a very good draw. The weather was horrendous, so a very good draw. Played average and qualified for the match play easy, just because of a good draw. So you take your luck when you have it. And then I played very, very well in the match play. It was just one of those weeks where everything was kind of in control. So I ended up losing in the quarterfinals to
Wow.
Warren Blade and the guy who won it. I three putted the last to lose one up in the quarterfinals. And do you know what? See, to be totally honest with you, big man, I could have won that week, which was mental from where I was a year ago. I was going to say it would have ruined my career because I wasn't really very good, but I was playing really well that week. I had a
Aye.
very good draw. There was no big names above me. Short game was tight, and I missed a wee putt in that, and I missed nothing the whole week. So
And
um,
where was
I
that one,
remember my
Fraser?
dad said that. I remember my dad said that would have killed you if you won that. It'd have sunk your career. Then I said, Dad, I could didn't have a career anyway, so what difference would it have made?
Ah,
It would
you'd have been
just have been nice to have.
sunk playing at Augusta. I'm sure he could have suffered that, big man.
Oh, it would have been fine, absolutely. So no, that was great experience, and that was they would bring you in because I was potentially going to be the youngest ever to win. The press were all over it and stuff like
Yeah, of
that. So
course.
it really escalated from I would love to just nip in and get a wee Scotland cap, and then that's it. I can go to my deathbed happy to all of a sudden everything kind of happening at once. So it escalated fast, but it was great, brilliant memories.
What course was that at, Fraser?
That was Turnberry.
Right. Wow.
That
What a
that
place
was
to do
that
it.
was it. That was at Turnberry. That was beautiful. It really was. It was beautiful. I've never been back since, actually. Funnily enough,
Even because
I've
Davy
never.
worked there. Davy Park worked at Turnberry, never went back
Davy
down.
Park. Davy Park worked there for years. Never went back down. That was
That's
it.
funny, isn't it?
Maybe never. Maybe never go again.
One and done.
One and
One and
done.
done.
That's it. It can only be worse if I go back. So.
I don't know about
That kind of that was it. I had a good run in the Scottish boys stroke play as well. I lost in a playoff to big Martin Brown on that. I had a big lead with a few holes to go, blew up, ended up losing in a playoff. But that kind of a run put me in line to go to America for my golf scholarship in Midland, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say, so takes us into that Midland experience. And I mean, first of all, how did that come around? Because I know that Stephen Young had gone before you, but I mean, going to college in
Yeah, yeah.
America had been done a little bit, but it wasn't really a kind of not the sort of path that a lot of people were taking back then. What got you
No,
into it?
at that time there would have been 4 or 5 of us only in the
Right.
whole. Maybe a wee bit more than that. Now there'll be hundreds probably. It was
Yeah.
very different back then. It wasn't quite as structured then as it is now either. But again, life experience just incredible. So I mean, I was mollycoddled as a kid. I mean, I went there in my first year and never changed my bed sheets because I never knew you changed bed sheets. I just I never knew how anything worked. I never knew how washing machines worked. So it was a wee bit of a baptism of fire, but it was fantastic. And obviously, watching Stevie, you hear people talking about how good Stevie was, but to see it day in, day out, that was almost a wee bit discouraging because it was a level of golf. I played 9 holes with Stevie when I arrived in Midland. My
Uh-huh.
first 9 holes I'd played, and I was going there thinking, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a tour card. 2 hours in, I played 9 holes with Stevie, and I'm thinking, I just don't even know how to play golf. This guy is on a complete different planet.
Wow. And that's Stephen Young, right?
Stephen Young in Virality. Yeah. A lot of the listeners will never even have heard of him. He went there and never came back. Won the Scottish Boys 3 years in a row. Played
Which is
Walker
which is
Cup.
not easy. I mean, that is not an easy feat because he
I
first won it
mean,
when he was
what
like
is this?
15.
15, 16, and 17. I mean, I think you need to win. Is it 9 games you need to win?
Aye.
It's a
27
lot of
games
games.
unbeaten.
It's a lot of games in a row when half the time it's sleet and hail and your guts are slitting. But he was incredible. Shed, I played with him 3 times on par 72 courses when he broke 60. Two 59s and a 58.
What?
Yeah, different world. Tiger Woods stuff, honestly. The boys
Wow.
will have told you as well, just completely. But big Kenny Ferry was there as well. Remember, Kenny won a few
Yeah, he
times.
was
He
on
was
tour,
my
wasn't he? Yeah.
he was my roommate, Kenny, and
Wow.
Kenny won 6, 7, 8 million euros playing golf. When you looked at Kenny and Stevie together, it's like boxing and ice skating, just a completely different world. But it just never happened for him. He just got distracted. He ended up meeting somebody, kind of went off the golf a wee bit, and that was it. He's a club pro now.
Wow. That's
Yeah, but a
incredible.
shame actually. Shame. He he was a potential world beater.
Yeah. I mean, he's
But it just
certainly in the press in Scotland. I mean, he was in the back of newspapers and stuff when we were kids about
oh, absolutely.
his
He was
golfing
a big
talent was off
draw.
the charts. His golfing talent was
Oh,
unbelievable.
he was a big draw, and he was. How would you describe him? He was his own man. He did things his own way. He's a wee bit loose at times.
Right. Wow.
For
Jeez.
I mean, he won 9 or 10 college tournaments in a row, which will never be done again. Um, one of them, he won't even mind me saying this, 'cause it's 100 years ago. One of them, when we were on the bus, 20 minutes after he'd lifted his trophy, he'd forgotten what he'd scored. He was so drunk. He'd been drinking Morgans and Diet Coke all the way around in a big gulp container, all the way around in
Wow.
a college tournament. Just a different talent beyond belief. He could play sober, drunk, hungover. Didn't make any difference.
That's incredible. And
Yeah,
winning 9 or 10 college events, I mean, people talk about winning one college event and you've done
exactly.
incredibly
100%.
well.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I mean, Shed, honestly, 61, 62, 63. Anybody who knows him will tell you he would literally just go straight out in the front foot. If there was a green to be driven,
He's
hitting round
driving it.
corners, just everything. It was great fun to watch, actually. It was an experience.
Wow. And I think the thing I remember for you going to Midland, Fraser, which brings us back to the Hamilton driving range story. I mean, you were a big guy. You're 6'5", obviously always
Six
been
five,
pretty
yeah.
tall. But you came back from Midland and you were definitely stronger. Was that when the interest kind of started for you in terms of working
Ah,
out?
yeah.
And
It did. To be honest, the whole weightlifting. See, to be honest, it's not so much the training; it's more the appearance that got me. If I was going to be completely honest, I always had an interest in kind of guys in films that look quite strong and muscly. Well, I quite fancy that. That looks cool. So it was more that than trying to get strong to play golf, which was probably quite a big contributor to why I never really progressed so well. And it actually was, to be honest. It got to the stage later in life. I get too big, no flexibility, and I couldn't play anymore,
yeah,
among other things. But that certainly didn't help. But when I went to Midland, I did get involved in a weights program that was through the golf, put a bit of weight on. When I had that good run at Turnberry, I was 10 stone, just under 11 stone. And last year, 6 months before my show, I was 21 stone, so 10 stone heavier.
wow.
So it's like
And it's basically pure muscle.
twice a person and a quarter the golfer.
But the other thing I remember, Fraser, you talking about back then was how much you'd worked in your short game and how much you'd improved. I don't know if it was the coach that was at the college or maybe another coach around that person, but I remember you talking about your short game really coming on and how you changed, not massively changed your technique, but changed it a little bit and it got a
Yeah,
lot better.
yeah, the short game really improved a lot in America. A lot of it as well was the different grasses.
Yeah,
Now, for some people, it actually went against them. Some people it went, all the different kind of grasses require slightly different angles of attack, slightly different approaches to what kind of shots you're going to play. And I quite enjoyed that. So what I found when I came back here, and grass is pretty much grass, it's fairly lush, it's either
yeah,
wet or dry. All of a sudden found chipping fairly easy. And also my old man had built us a bunker in a wee putting green at the back of your council house in Cambusnethan. So it was
awesome.
something I was always kind of, my short game was all, I mean, it had to be with the directional issues that I had to deal with at times. So,
But I mean, I was joking about the house and hippo stuff, but when you were young, I mean, you mentioned there you were off like 6 when you were 12 or something. That's got to come for your short game. It had to be. You had to be doing
absolutely,
really
because you
well.
can't reach it. Absolutely, so you
Yeah,
can't reach anything. No, you're right. Yeah, no, short game's always been kind of decent. You know, it's bizarrely enough, big man. I play once a year now
right.
at the golf club that I used to work at, the pros
Yeah.
day. So they let me in the pros team. So it's a scramble and I can't hit it. I'm just rubbish. I just don't enjoy it. I'm rubbish. But my short game's still not too bad.
So you're in for the
It's
chipping and
still all
putting.
right. I know it's still fine. I
Oh,
mean, you
that's
stand up
awesome.
with the driver and it's just calling all pockets. Where's it going? But the short game has stayed fairly loyal, even because usually it's the opposite. Some goes, yeah, I still hit some good shots, but chipping and putting was gone. But it's been the opposite for me. But I think that's because I put quite a lot of time into it when
Yeah.
I was younger. And obviously, maybe you don't forget it. I guess I don't know.
Oh, we've got you lined up for a seniors tour, Fraser. I can see the comebacks on. Got a Netflix series of this.
I might need a new lower back, but we'll see.
Yeah. One of the other things we mentioned before coming on, Fraser, that I want to touch on for people. I mean, what a great run that year. But you also played for Scotland against Ireland, and it was Graham McDowell you played. I'd love you to talk about that.
Yeah, that was the Scottish Scotland v Ireland used to played every year, and it was a Cork Golf Club. My partner was Mark Loftus, me and Big Lofty.
Wow.
We were partners for through boys and through youth golf together. We never had a particularly good record, to tell you the truth, but they always paired us together. And Mark's still a great pal of mine. Him and his wife Angela come and stay twice a year. We're
Oh,
still
nice.
very good friends. He's doing great now, teaching away and stuff. But anyway, it was doubles. I think it was doubles first day, doubles second day, and then the second afternoon was singles. So it was me versus McDowell in the last match, and it was all tied up. And long story short, I managed to just nudge him at 2-1 at the end,
There
and
you
we
go.
ended up winning. We ended up winning the trophy. But here's a funny story for you. Not that this is, we're not doing any negative stuff on here, so I know it's not a negative podcast.
I'd like to thank Ollie and True Linkswear for supporting the show. Let's hear from Ollie now.
The OG3 Pro is the natural evolution of the OG range. We have a wide toe box that allows your foot to work naturally and your toes display. We have a cushioned zero drop platform. It's flexible, minimalist to allow you to feel the ground. It's waterproof and an aggressive spikeless outsole. And of course, it's tour tested.
I caddied for Big O'Hara, Big Stephen.
Right.
Caddied for Big Stevie at Loch Lomond. 2 years later, Stevie got an invite as an amateur. Stevie was in that team with us actually in Cork.
Yeah.
So what's the past 4 at Loch Lomond you can drive? About 12 or
It's like
13?
12 or something, isn't it? 12.
So there's a log jam on the tee. Now keep in mind, after we played that match, we went out for drinks with Graham McDowell, Michael Hoy, all these guys. We had a great time, right? So
Yeah.
back to Loch Lomond 2 years later, there's a jam up on the tee. So me and O'Hara, I'm caddying for O'Hara, we go up. McDowell's grips on the tee waiting. And it's one of those ones where he kind of sees you and he just gives it. He pretends he doesn't see you. Complete blank.
Oh, well, he dusted him, no bother, so that was it. He obviously
I
was
know.
feeling embarrassed, big man.
Aye, maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's still hurting him. I don't know. Maybe it's still hurting him. But then on the opposite end of the scale, Justin Rose used to play against me, Stuart Whiteford, Dingy, all these guys. I hadn't seen Justin for probably 15, 20 years. 2 years ago in Abu Dhabi, I seen him and I was 30 yards away from him. And I don't know how he recognised me because I'm twice the size. Straight over, how are you, big man? You need to come in and have a drink after. How have you been? What you been doing? Just completely different class.
That's
It just
phenomenal.
shows you the personalities of these guys. It's quite interesting. I love all that stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
I love all that stuff. It's a wee bit
Right.
naughty talking about people like that, but he kind of deserved it. So there you go.
Well,
We'll
it's
move on.
golf. I mean, you put him away, Fraser. That's all that matters, big man. Brilliant.
Ah, I know it's a gentleman's sport, isn't it?
Well, I think that's one of the funny things with golf is that it's still very, very competitive. Don't be kidded. It's mega
absolutely.
competitive. I mean, folk are you're putting
Absolutely.
everything into it. Doesn't matter if you're off. You know, myself playing in team games, there's maybe off 2 or 3, and you're playing against somebody who's off scratch. I'm desperate to beat them. Somebody who's maybe a higher
100%.
handicap's desperate to beat me. And then you're playing,
Yeah.
and it's a different level you're playing, right? And you're all like +2, you're all playing for Scotland, and it's like, oh, I'm definitely beating this guy today. I don't care how he plays, I'm taking him out.
Listen, it's the exact same feeling when you get rims driving home. Whatever
Aye,
level
of
it is,
course
you want to
it
win.
is.
You want to win. No, 100%. No, you're right. That's another thing I really miss is, I know we're getting off topic here, the
No,
team
this is
matches
good.
were great fun.
Well, I was going to
I used
talk
to
about.
love
I was
the
going to get to
team
the team matches,
matches.
Fraser.
Oh, they were great fun. I enjoyed them more than any of that other stuff, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
They
the
were
team
great
matches
fun.
were really good fun, and I think in Lanarkshire we had such a good group of people at all the different courses. I think all the guys got on really pretty well for the majority of it, whether it
Oh,
was
big time.
Covels,
Yeah, very much
Straven,
so.
Hamilton,
Yeah, very much
Wishaw,
so.
East Kilbride, didn't matter. Everybody got on pretty well, and you look
Oh, there
forward to
there
getting,
was serious rivalry, but extremely friendly.
yeah. And then you get some, for all of us, you get the game up at Lanark the week of the Open qualifying or something, and it's just out of this
That's
world.
right.
Or you go up to
You
Strafe
put
and it's
it into the
after the
bunker off the
Pro-Am.
first green.
Hey, up to Strafe and they've just had the Pro-Am and it's just looking amazing. There's, experiences like
Yeah.
that you can't beat. It's just awesome.
You kind of take it for granted a wee bit, to be honest with you.
I know. But I wanted to ask, you were reminding me, because I'd asked you a little bit about this. So you played team games one year. Talk me through who you're playing in those games for. Was it 10 games you had? And every one of them was a Scotland international,
That's
basically?
right. And that was, but I mean, it was just showing the quality of the guys we had. Let me try and remember what it was. So Colville Park was big slamming Sam Cairns, who's a great player, as you know.
Yeah.
East Kilbride was wee Mark Warren.
Yep.
He was number one, so I played Mark. Sorry, Colville Park was O'Hara. Sorry, was that. Sam was before. So you'd O'Hara, Mark Warren. You had Big Brian Smith at Hamilton, or
Who's
one of the
unbelievable in there.
or one of the Moyer twins. Do you remember how good they were in there? The Moyer twins.
Both off +3 and shot about 6 under every time they were out.
You didn't want to play them in there. You had, who else did we have? What other clubs are there?
Drumpelia.
God, we went through a few. Wilson Bryson at Drumpelia. I mean, Wilson, you love to beat Wilson as well because you know how much it annoyed him and he loved to beat you. And he was hard to beat as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you
But,
guys like Graham Rankin playing out of Drumpelia and stuff as well at times. It's just mad.
I mean, there was a lot of Scottish international guys playing in those matches. It was a very strong division.
Just in
And from what I'm
Lanarkshire.
from what I'm led to believe, it's completely changed now. I think is that right? I think the standards went down a wee bit for whatever
I think
reason.
some of the clubs you'd have said had more players back in the day, like Hamilton, Straven. I think they've still got pretty strong teams, but I think some of the other clubs are definitely struggling. Yeah, just for numbers, Fraser. I don't think there's as many.
That's exactly what it'll be. It's just a numbers game, isn't it? If you've only got 300 members, you're not going to have 10 guys under 2 handicap. So,
but you look at I mean, Colville Park. I remember one night with a team that nobody was higher than like 0.5. That was a 10-man team.
0.5.
Aye, yeah. And listen, we still get hammered.
Here's a question for us. I was going to ask you off camera, but I thought it'd be fun to ask you. And this is embarrassing from my point. Did we ever play each other in a team match? An actual team match?
I don't think so. I think we played like boys.
I don't think so either. I know we played it a few times, but I wasn't sure we ever played an actual team match. I think it was like boys opens
and then maybe county get-togethers and things like that.
I think you're right. That's
I always played Davey.
I was almost like, was that? Because I was almost a bit. I hope I've not played the big man and forgot because that's terrible.
No,
I knew we hadn't.
I played Ross McNaughton. I played Davy Park. I think I played Davy Park most times actually for Wishaw. Always get beat. Cheers, Davy. In fact, I'll tell you, Fraser, a beauty. Because Covels had a lot of good players, but junior-wise, with quite a gap compared to Wishaw. Like Wishaw always produced a lot of good golfers. So I remember I was playing one for the Covell team. I'm off 10, right? I rock up in the first tee at Covell Park, the long par 3 down the hill, and you've got the shop over on the right-hand side. Playing Davy.
I've got the shivers thinking about it right now, and I've not played in 5 years.
You know what's coming. So Davy hits it on the green, and I've stood up and shanked it behind 3 trees that are down nearly in the forest area. So I'm down there. I've winged it from there somehow onto the green to about 25 feet and hold it. Cheers, Davy. Nice par, pal.
Oh, brilliant.
But Davy was playing off one. So I'm out in this team game thinking, I'm going to get absolutely tanked here. This is crazy.
Lomond Golf Tours have helped thousands of guests build bespoke golf trips to create a magical experience. Travel in style with our executive chauffeur travel, whether it's golf on a major championship venue or one of our hidden gems, 5-star accommodation or a boutique bed and breakfast, or is it whiskey tasting on a private boat? Lomond Golf Tours are here to help build the tour of a lifetime. Whether you're celebrating a special occasion or ticking it off your bucket list, embark on a trip that you'll remember forever. To learn more about our offerings for 2025 and beyond, visit www.lomondgolftours.com.
What was the score?
He beat me in the last. There you go.
Oh, that was all right.
Yeah. I thought the courtesy bus was coming for that one.
He was a very good player as well, Davey. They always used to speak about myself and Dingy and Stevie Taylor and Wisha, but Davey was smarter than us. He was always kind of thinking, going to have to make a living one day and have a house and pay bills and stuff like that. So he wasn't quite as extravagant in where he played. But Davey was a great player as well.
Yeah.
Another very good
He
player.
played Scottish events and all that. He's really good.
Do you know, I'll tell you a story about Davey, and you'll not even remember this, and it's awesome, right? When I was young, like anybody, when you're the young guy, the junior club champion's the hero. He's the guy that you're looking up to. So Davey was the junior club champion. I'd have been about 13. Colville Park Boys Open. Davey went and played. I played as well. Davey shot 60 or something. He was in a playoff. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a one-day playoff back then, I think, for the Colville Park Boys Open. Or maybe there was a weather thing anyway. So he had to come back and play the playoff a week later. So he came back and played the playoff. And I just remember I was playing with my dad, and he had played the playoff that day, and he was on the range hitting balls. I never knew he played the playoff that day and won. So we walked up, "How you doing, Davey?" Used to pester him, "Wee boy, aye, good, how are you? What you doing, playing a few holes?" And he never mentioned it. He never mentioned that he won the playoff. And then we went back in, we were on the putting green, and we met the club pro, John Campbell. And he says, "Did you hear Davey won the playoff today?" And my old man said, "Now look, that's class right there. You're going to do good things, people hear about it. You don't need to be telling people. That's modesty." So that was something that always stuck in my mind. He kept it under his hat. So that's my Davey Park story. Modest Davey.
Why doesn't he keep it under his hat for me? He beat me every time. No bother.
It was out there for everybody to see.
I learned a lot from Davey, let me tell you, my junior career.
I still see Davey every time I'm home. We'll go out and have a beer and stuff and tell each other and what's going on. So it's good fun.
Oh, that's brilliant. And then Fraser, I mean, that's your amateur career in many respects, but you turned pro, and you turned pro at Bothwell, and that took you to a guy, I guess you worked with him before, or at least knew him, so Alan McCloskey. You said, before we talked, he was a big influence in your career. I'd love you to talk about Bothwell and Alan's influence.
Oh, absolutely. Two or three big influences in my career. My father was the first one, just because he was so supportive. Let me basically do whatever I wanted, as long as it was something to do with golf and I wasn't in trouble. So that was a big start in life, kind of thing. Made sure I go everywhere, every tour. Used to play 3 boys opens in one day sometimes if we could get the times right. It was absolute madness. People used to say, "God, the amount of boys opens you've won." It was only because I played so many. I probably won 1 out of every 50, so it looked like I won a lot. Sorry, so Alan was coaching me. I would be early 20s, 22, back to America,
right?
Playing amateur stuff. That would be just about the time of the Scottish youth stuff. Was working away with him. He was short of an assistant, and he says, "Look, why don't you come and work?" I was getting lottery funding at the time, so I had a wee bit of money to play golf and do some jobs in the winter. He says, 2 days a week, gets you in there, you can start your training or not start your training, it maybe not be a bad idea. Why don't you try it? So I did, and I started my PGA training when I was 21, I think. So just working with Alan every day, watching his way with people, how encouraging he was. There's so many things Alan McCluskey's done for people that nobody will ever know. He's that kind of guy. He just wants to help people, doesn't want any credit for it at all. So I learned a ton from Alan moving forward into my coaching career and even what I'm doing now, and the manner in which you speak to people, the way you deal with people. I mean, Alan would have had me thinking that there is nobody in the world is going to beat you at golf when you just get this couple of things right, and he actually made you believe it. And I mean, me and Kenny Monaghan, Kenny's great pal of mine, super switched on businessman now, doing so well for himself. He's only just going to get more successful. Me and Kenny, when we worked with Alan, were complete hooligans. I don't know how he put up with us. I honestly don't. So he's a very forgiving. We made it to work on time. The members liked us. He realised that, but he turned a blind eye to a lot.
Alan really was a guy that was great at giving people confidence. And what you're saying there, I remember going for a couple of lessons to do county stuff with myself, and I'm standing in this range thinking, "Oof, I've got a wee chance next week." And he's just like, I feel like I've walked in thinking I'm hitting it sideways, and suddenly, oh man, you're some player, big man. You've got it today. And you walk away just thinking you can do it.
I mean, you know, the thing is, big man, as well, it's not even a sales pitch, because you know yourself, you're not going to play well unless you believe it. So it's a big part of coaching as well. It's not just getting it shallow and in the way down or getting the ball position back or your shoulders square. It's a big part of coaching that I think gets overlooked a wee bit, to be honest. But he had the whole lot for sure. And I think everybody would agree with that. He's one of those people, you're always going to leave feeling better than you were before you ran into him, which is obviously a great life ambition, that, if you can be that person, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But then, Fraser, you had a great time at Bothell, but you went to Dubai. So talk us through the decision
went to Dubai. Came to the realisation that the golf was not going to supply a living or a sustainable living anyway. Had a lot of fun. Realised that there was really nowhere to go. Was starting to get in a wee bit of debt. Went to tour school and stuff like that. Started racking up a wee bit of money. The kind of realisation that, right, it's time to grow up here and get a real job. So my good friend Stevie Hoodner, he'd been at me for 3 years. Right. Let's get over here. You can still play a bit of golf, but you're in the sunshine. You can earn a bit of money at the same time. So I actually just made a full conscious decision. I'm going to go do this and I'm not coming back. And that was the case. Just upped and went and just put everything 100% into the coaching side of things. So when I went there to Yaleen, it was a new golf course. So I was there basically to open the golf academy from scratch, kind of thing. Which, to be honest, I was fairly underqualified. So there was a wee bit of ad lib going on there. There was a bit of guesswork going on. But it kind of worked out fairly well, to be honest, and it grew. And I think it ended up 11 or 12 years I was there, and I was super busy. Yeah. Super great lifestyle. Very busy, to be honest. I worked a lot. That was one of the main reasons that I stopped. I mean, the positives was I was doing 15, 20 lessons a day, 5-6 days a week, every week. So, wow, that's a huge amount. That's crazy. Oh, it's a huge amount. So it was a fantastic living compared to what I was doing here. But it just got to the stage where, right, need a wee bit more time to myself. And then it kind of, the other career in the kind of health and fitness space was already kind of a manifest in the last 2 or 3 years in there. And then it transferred over, and that's where I've ended up now. Yeah, and so when did you cut across over to doing effectively your fitness career now? So it would have been 4 years ago. So I started doing amateur bodybuilding shows when I stopped playing golf, because I could then have the time to eat and train properly, didn't need to worry about golfing. So done some amateur shows, started helping some people on the side. You know what it's like? People see you've lost weight, gained weight, whatever. Oh, what are you doing? So started helping some people for about a year. then thought to myself, do you know what? I should be kind of charging for this. Invested quite heavily in my education and nutrition, pharmacology, strength and conditioning, lots of seminars, lots of online stuff. So I really went in fairly head first, to be honest, because I knew there was a scope to move into that space, but I had to make sure I was qualified. So I was doing all of this whilst I was teaching golf. So the deal was with the golf over there. I got a salary. I got an apartment, which was great. It's a very good deal, actually. And I get 50% of all my lessons. So the club get 50%, I get 50%. So the more you work, the more you earn. So I spoke to the boss man and I says, look, I want to start this nutrition and training company where I do diets and training plans for guys. I charge them this amount. You do my marketing for me, and I'll just go through his lessons. You get half, I get half. So I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. So it then got to the point where I'm looking at the numbers and I'm thinking, even without the free apartment, even without the salary they're paying me, I'm now at a stage now where I'm earning enough here where I'm comfortably breaking even, and I'm not doing 100 golf lessons a week kind of thing. So I phoned my wife and I said, look, I think I can go on my own here. What do you think? I says, I need you to put a date in, right? It's the 13th of April. Next year, in 12 months, I will not be working at the golf club anymore. She's like, I'm 100% behind you. Do it. So she put it in the diary. Then I phoned Stevie Hubner. And I says, right, mate, here's the deal. I'm getting away to golf. I've been threatening. Here's the numbers. When I leave, it's only going to grow anyway. So I'm going to have so much more time. Put this date, 13th of April, in the diary next year. He says, big man, no. What you need to do, go into your office, write a letter of resignation, and resign today. And that's it. Just go there. What do you mean? He says you're breaking even. Your revenue's going to triple when you've got all of that extra time. Just resign today. So I phoned my wife, and to my surprise, she says, great idea, go resign right now. So 10 minutes after that call, wrote a letter of resignation. I was out within a month. That was it. So it really was kind of all eggs in one basket. So, and I walked out of there, and I'll be honest, I've not really thought about golf again since I walked out of there, which is bizarre because, as you know from what we've just spoke about, I love golf, but it was just the right time to move on. But it's worked out very well. I've been very fortunate.
And so when was that, Fraser? What kind of time frame was that exactly?
That was April 2021.
Wow. So just after, well,
April 13th.
I guess COVID was still going a wee bit, but just after the
COVID was just kind of a taper. I was actually quite busy during COVID, actually designing like home workout plans and
of course, aye.
stuff like that, and that kind of stuff. Well, when I left the golf club, I had 50 monthly customers checking in, and within 2 months of finishing, I was up to 120.
That's incredible.
After 2 months of resigning, and that's me capped. Only 120 is my cap. Then I have a reserve list after that.
Wow, that's awesome. And you say you'd never look back.
It was a risk, but it worked well. Never looked back since. No, it's still fresh. Another thing as well. When I was teaching golf when I was young, I was still playing golf. The passion was still there. Another thing. Standing out in that range for 10 hours is no easy when you're 18, 19, 20 stone either. When it's hot, it was wearing my body a wee bit as well. It was just time to make a change, to be honest. Everything just kind of, they say things happen for a reason. It just kind of pushed me in that direction.
But it's no surprise to me, Fraser, that I think you're somebody that's always maybe poking fun at yourself, but I've got no surprises that you're a really good coach in terms of doing your fitness work as well, because you had to go through your professional exams for golf, right? And that's not easy either. You've got to be good with people. You've got to understand the game. You've got to be able to communicate. So there's a lot of transferable skills. And then the study part, you've got to do all your biomechanics and things for golf as well. It's not just a case of turning up and shooting 465s and somebody goes, hey,
I
you're
mean,
a pro.
there's 100%. It has to be a basic. I really appreciate that, by the way. But there has to be a basic knowledge. But it doesn't matter what you do in terms of what business you're running. It is just about customer service. It's as simple as that. People told me you're getting in the online space, AI's coming, there's millions of online coaches, it's flooded, it's saturated. But these people are not looking after people. It's the same thing with golf. When you were doing 20 lessons a day, you needed to be the exact same person with the exact same enthusiasm in lesson number 1 at 7 in the morning or lesson number 20 at 9 o'clock. If you don't have that ability, you can't retain customers. They won't come back. And
No.
it's the exact same with online coaching. AI can sort meal plans for you, macros, training plans, but AI can phone somebody when you know they're struggling. Just give them a wee phone in the middle of the week. I had a woman quite severely overweight, struggling with diabetes, trying to get her steps up. She texted me one night. She 3 days in a row she'd done her 8,000 steps. She only lives around the corner, actually, although most of my customers are all over. She
Right.
texts me, I'm too tired tonight. I've only done 4,000. I'm really sorry. I'll be back tomorrow. I walked round the corner and tapped her door. Her husband answered. I'm like, right, get her out. So she came out and we went at 4,000. That's the kind of stuff that's better than any kind of heavy sales pitches or advertising. You've just got to look after each person to the absolute best of your ability, and the customers will come. Just exactly whether it's golf, online training, whatever it is. It's just look after people.
No, and I think, Fraser, one of the things I would say for you that I think is loads of people would say, all the guys that you played with when you were younger, you get so many people you're connected with just because of your personality, and that's coming through. It came through in your golf when you became a professional golfer as well, and you're coaching people, building up that client base, and it's really shining through now that you're this large customer base you're working with, and you're treating them the way you would treat people you've met all your life, which is just really a sort of personal touch.
That's a lovely compliment. I appreciate that, Ross. It really is. That's a lovely. You'd never get tired hearing that. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. So, Fraser, are we going to be able to get you back on the golf course at some point? Seniors Tour Beckett, maybe?
At some point, maybe. Do you know what I would love to do? I'd love to win the Wisher Club Championship. I'd love to do that. So maybe in 2 or 3 years, I'll maybe get the clubs out and practice for 6 months and see if I can scrape it around there and give a young guy. I think that would probably be my only golfing goal that I would maybe look at penciling in. I've got a wee bit of issues with my spine and lower back. That would need to be fixed. But that might be something. You don't ever want to leave anything completely closed. So there would be a kind of a wee list that we could maybe check off. In fairness, Johnny Johnson shot 61 and he's about 103. He texted me the other day.
I was going
to say to him, you're still alive, shooting 61. Incredible.
Well, Johnny Johnson, as I've said in this pod a couple of times, he was my maths teacher. As he pointed out, he would say the only maths teacher I ever had, and he used to have practice questions in the maths class and go, right, let's pick a number. And if you're Ross McGuire, that would be a golf score, Ross. What's your typical golf score, Ross? That'd be 95, right? Just he did it honestly, it was almost every week. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. I found out he'd beaten his age and he was like 62. I'm like, how'd you do that?
It's incredible. It's amazing. It really is. There's hope for us all yet.
Yeah, and
there's hope for us all yet.
And with like Kenny Gallagher, Johnny did it first, Kenny. Johnny qualified for the Seniors Open as well.
I know, I've seen that. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That would be something, wouldn't it? How much fun would that be?
Oh, that'd be cool.
And also, you're fucking 60 odd. You're not going to be that nervous, are you? You're going to enjoy it.
There you go. Well, Fraser, it's been brilliant having you on the podcast. Really
Andrew,
fantastic.
sorry, one more question before you go. One more question. How's your golf? Just quickly. You know, I meant to ask you earlier, how's your golf? What's your handicap? What are you up to?
I am still off 2, so I've been holding 2
Very
for a
good.
couple of years now. Putt left-handed. There you go.
Okie dokie.
Because the phrase I use now, Fraser, very positive, is that I'm a better putter left-handed, rather than talking about
Well
anything
done.
negative, right?
That's better than trying to take tablets or something. Right, what else is going on?
Definitely better than that. So yeah, look, my golf is, I would say I'm playing, because I had a guy called Jamie Edwards on the pod last year. Jamie's a really well-known performance
Yes,
coach, really well-known.
absolutely.
And
Yeah, very good.
And he talked in the pod about, people tend to practice in environments that are not what they need to be practicing in. And I'm sure you've done this as a golf coach plenty of times where you're like, hey, listen, you've just spent 15 hours in the driving range. How are you thinking you're getting better at golf at this point? You got to go out and play.
Exactly.
So, long story short, I started playing a lot more last year. And a lot more, Fraser, is I'm not going and hitting balls. When I go to the golf, it's typically I go and play 9 holes as a worst case, rather than go and hitting, I don't know, 100 drivers mindlessly down a driving range.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and it's meant that I've scored, because I wasn't a great practicer before. I've actually, all my best scores are in competition, believe it or not. I've never been one of these folk that would do, well, certainly not doing Stevie Young things, but I certainly never had, you're like, oh, I've shot 7 under par today. I'm like, very good. My best score's like 5 under. But since then, with Jamie, I've scored under par more times for 9 or 18 in a year than I probably have in any year I've played golf. Now, it hasn't come through to competition yet, but we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, it's good to hear. We'll certainly we'll make a point of getting a game when I get myself match fit. I promise. It'll be great fun.
Well, I might have a chance of getting it past you now, after all the years of having it whacked past me by you.
Hey, if you can't hit it past me, you'll lose the right to do a golf podcast. You'll be able to throw it past me right now. Jesus.
Well, listen, you can maybe throw me further than you can hit it.
Maybe. I'm not sure about that. Anyway.
Brilliant. Well, listen, Fraser, it's been awesome to have you on. Thanks so much for joining, and it's really great to hear about your business taking off. It's no surprise to me that you're connecting with people and doing a great job with them, so well done. It's brilliant to hear about.
Thank you very much, Ross. It's been great to reminisce, and I've been loving your podcast, and I'll be continuing to tune in.
Thanks so much, Fraser. Take care.
See you, buddy. All the best. Take care.
That's it for this week's episode of Link by Golf. A massive thanks to Fraser McLaughlan for joining me. From growing up obsessed with the game to carving out a new life in Dubai as a personal trainer, Fraser's story shows just how far the game of golf can take you, even when you step away from it. If you enjoyed the conversation, please follow the podcast and share it with your friends, fellow golfers, and anyone who enjoys hearing where the game connects us beyond the scorecard. Thanks again to Oliver Wilson and True Linkswear for agreeing to support the show. Until next time, I'm Ross McGuire. Thanks for listening.